Right, so for our next page I thought we'd use some of these. This is a Tim Holtz die, Sizzix die, Tim Holtz, and it's just turmeric dyed paper, or you could use tea stained paper, and I think I'm just going to pop that onto there and line it up. This bit edge will have to be cut away, but I actually think I'm going to cover the majority of the underneath with turmeric stained paper. And then I'm going to use one of these. There's 3 different vintage art and inspire stamped text bits, and again this is on tea stained or turmeric dyed paper. It's a little bit difficult to get the edges distressed because there's not much room, but you could just distress it with scissors if you wanted. So I'm going to tear there, and again this is a bit easier there. I can always tear some of these bits off if I don't want them. So I've got that. Put those away just for now. So you can see I'm going to just line this up more or less, and then making sure I've got enough at the bottom, I'm just going to snip that off. Don't think I want, no. I'm going to keep that for something else. So I'm just going to add glue to the back of here, especially on the edges. I think a part of this edge will need to be cut away. So I'll go quite wide. There we are. Just check that back's the right way over, because sometimes there's wording on the top. Yeah, and so I'm going to go line it up with the bottom of my page and with the edge. Press it all down. Get my big scissors. And just trim away the excess. And because I put a fair bit of glue right to the edge, but also in a little bit, it should all be stuck. Do the top, and then this side, and also once it's completely dry you can sand it to make sure you've got a neat edge. But I won't do that now because it's not dry. If you need a little bit more shadow, you can just ink it with some distress ink. I quite like that I've got a little bit at the top that is just showing the text underneath. Get rid of the big scissors out of the way. Now, our vintage wording, I'm going to put somewhere. Do I put it there or there? Could actually attach it at the top coming down. But I think what I like is I'm going to go here, because it's got a bit of interest on the edge here. I'm going to line that up, and then I'm going to wrap it round like that, so that it goes all the way around, because you've still got plenty of room for journaling. But I actually like the fact that it goes the way around, but I don't think I think we'll cut that off, but I'll glue it on and then cut it off. So we've got our area bent so we know where we're going to go. Right to the edge, some in the middle. I'll leave that little edge unglued, because that will be the bit that I'll probably cut off. So I'll just give it a little bit of space. So I've made sure that's up to the edge. Then we'll go round, and we'll go round over the other side, and then that bit we'll just cut off. I'll just get the glue off before I get my scissors into it. A little bit away. So there we are. So we've got a bit of interest up there and some nice interest there, but it goes round to the back, so that's nice. And I'll just ink that edge up just a little bit. When all the pages are done, what I'm going to do is ink along the edges like this, so that any grey that shows of the cardboard is covered up. I've done some of them already, but I'll just make sure that they are completely covered. So that's a fairly plainish page to the journal, but sometimes you need something just a little bit plainer so that it isn't all about being busy and really, really fussy. So that's another page. Right, so we've got another one of our pages, and I think this time I'm going to work on the back. You don't have to have them all so that you write on them. You can actually just work on the back sometimes, or what I would say was for journaling. I've cut a strip of some of the patterned paper, and initially I thought I would use this side. Still not altogether sure which side I'll use. I've done some more fussy cutting, and I've got this little group of flowers from one of the corners of one of the papers, and I rather like that because I thought that brought it down. And then I've got this little group which is on one of the fussy cut pages, and I quite like the way that that would come down here. I've also got one of these little stacks of suitcases which I quite like. Or this was actually part of this image, and it was a swing with the books on, but it didn't quite work like that for me, so I cut it out separately, and I may put the books just at the bottom there, which I do quite like, but I'm just wondering whether the other side is better, which this is like wood effect on the other side. it's less fussy. And I think maybe that's just a little bit more restful looking. So I think we'll go with that. So this is just the 3 fussy cut images and a strip of paper which I've torn and then just roughed the edges up. So I think we'll go, I'll just place that there, find out where that needs to be, and just do a little mark with a pencil so that I know where it's got to go up to when I glue it on. So I think we'll just ink the edges of the fussy cut images up a little bit to darken them. This helps them show up, as I've said before, against the background. There's not a lot of ink on my sponge, as I've said before, but it does just give them a border. Yeah. What I think I might do as well is a little bit more stamping, just to add a bit more interest in the background. So we'll go to our little text stamp again and just do a tiny bit of random stamping. And some of this won't show up. There we are. So we'll just glue our layers on. What I think I'm going to do with this as well is I'm going to leave this edge open so that little tickets or anything can be popped in there if we want. So I'll be gluing along this edge, out across the top and the bottom, but not putting any glue in the centre or that edge. And we'll line it up to where we'd marked. And press down to glue. So that edge, and this edge are all glued, but this one is open to pop things in if we want to. I'll glue that onto there. So I'll put glue all the way around. And that's it. I will line the top edge and this edge up, so it doesn't matter if we have to cut a little bit off at one edge, which we might have to there. So that's that. It does restrict our pocket a little bit, but we've still got all this area to use. Put that there and that one along the bottom. I always think things that are on a surface or appear to be should be grounded. It's a bit like, I don't like people floating in midair. So if you put it up here, I suppose it could be a shelf, but if you were using these, the suitcases, they need to be grounded. If you put them up here, they're floating in midair. Actually, I do think I like the suitcases better now. So we'll put our flowers on and then decide. There's all sorts of little images that you can fussy cut to make it unique. Just trying to get it so that we don't have so much overlapping the edge that will get caught. There we are. And then I think our suitcases are the ones that we will have. And we'll just have them grounded there. So you see, we don't see a great deal of the background paper, but it is just quite a pretty and light section to our journal. And then that's the back. We could cut those off if we want, but I don't think there'll be too much of a problem.